And so then without further ado, I want to start our first session, which is Bridging the Gap, Improving Access to Dermatology and Dermatopathology Training. And to kick off this session, I'm inviting Dr. Claire Fuller to come to the stage. Claire is probably one of those people who needs no introduction in this audience or in this crowd because everybody knows Claire. But I do want to introduce her nonetheless because she does so many different things. She's a consultant dermatologist in the UK, in London, which is in the UK. She's a medical dermatologist who has an interest in infectious diseases and neglected tropical diseases, among many other things. And she's probably best known for all of her roles as the chair of IFD, where she has really been transformational. And in the formation of GLODERM, she was one of the founding chairs of GLODERM, and really transformational probably in anybody who works within global dermatology. She has sort of made herself known as the matchmaker, where if you have an idea and interest, she'll pair you with the people who will help get things done. And she really has just been transformational in everything that she does. So we're really delighted to have you here. And she's going to be talking about emerging residency training program networks. So welcome.
Thank you very much, Carrie. And it's absolute pleasure to. Oh, good start. So if you didn't hear, I was just, and presumably online didn't hear. So I will just pop back and say that what I just want to celebrate is what we've achieved since 2018 when we started. We've got an amazing community, a wonderful family, an absolutely electrifying energy, and an enormous amount of enthusiasm that achieves what we have achieved over the last few years. And this just slightly summarizes in tiny writing. I really ought to get someone else to do my slides on the left-hand side of the initiative. So we have the scientific meetings, which is our mainstay. We do 1 or 2 a year. We usually do them before or around big meetings so that lots of people are in the room. We have the trainee committee, was an extraordinary initiative emerged out of lockdown or during lockdown. And Akash and Sidra Khan were absolutely instrumental in setting up some wonderful webinars every couple of months, and have just started to launch a podcast, just some examples of what they've achieved. The GLODERM mentorship program, I think our flagship educational acceleration of change makers has been really, really popular, really exciting, and wonderful to see what these extraordinary individuals over the last 3 or 4 years have achieved. And I'm introducing you today to the newest kid on the block, the Emerging Residency Programme Network. So why did we decide we needed to do this? Well, as we started to talk to those of you around the room who are maybe the first dermatologist in your country, or have very few of you and want to start training locally, we're starting to work together, and you were all having similar challenges. And so we thought that we should bring you together and coordinate a network where you can work through these challenges together. We can share good practice. We can share things that have worked in one country, whether it was finding outpatient space, whether it was negotiating with a university to make sure your programs are accredited, whether it was working with a Ministry of Health to make sure that your graduates go into government-funded jobs. All of these things that are going to be absolutely critical for sustainable dermatological services in your country as you build your departments. But also, how do you generate faculty so that you can train effectively within country? And so those were some of the issues, because we're all in the same bus. You know, we all found we were going in the same bus, broadly in the same direction, although the view out of the front might be slightly different where you are in the world. The journey is conceptually the same. And so it really made sense to work together. And we currently have 8 programs in our network, and we are really delighted to welcome more. I heard this morning from Alexia Knapp that Bhutan have just started a program. They have 2 faculty and 1 resident at the moment. So super early, but really exciting to hear about that. And this group of 8 residency programs have been working together. I can't count, across the world. And you can see challenging for time zones to get us all together. And we've got to work creatively through ways to deal with that. But just to sort of reflect on what we've been doing. So we started meeting in November 2023. had a survey and a priority setting exercise of what were the key things and the thing that we really wanted to work on. Our first session was how can we build pediatric dermatology faculty? We explored what learning initiatives, what resources were available free, how could we build networks. The International Society of Pediatric Dermatology, Amy Paller was incredibly helpful. It's free to join. They run really good weekly case reviews, lots of educational opportunities and opportunities for mentoring. We then heard from Ethiopia how effective they'd been in engaging government and ministry with accelerating from 6 trainees initially when their program started back in the early 2000s to several hundred now and several different programs across country. And then we moved on to an expertly led by our very own Marta van Beek derm surgery session, brainstorming how we might think about supporting building dermatological surgical capacity. And then on to Derm Path, what training opportunities are available within internationally free, how might we link people in with mentors, all of the time thinking how are we going to support these trainees, but also the faculty to develop their specialty. And so we've just started to review where we've got to and just reflect on that. And we'll hear some of the stories a bit later on today. But what was key was and uniform was this sense of community, that you weren't on your own just because you were on your own in your country and really, really struggling. You weren't on your own elsewhere. So that gave real encouragement and an opportunity to amplify and share effective solutions, and opportunities for subspecialty development, but also subspecialty training support. A big thank you was for the availability of Visual DX. So we really thank our supporters, Visual DX, but also CERAVE for facilitating that for the trainees in these programs. And so they've had access to that, as well as the suite of other resources. We are just about to make available on our website the free resources for emerging training programs, and they'll take people to what is available. And so what's next? Well, we're going to priority set now where we're going to move forward, but issues that seem to be important to everyone is how do we coordinate or have some support with developing curricula? How do we develop international fellowships, either for bringing people in to train us in our resource limited setting environment, or to, arrange for our trainees to go elsewhere? How do we develop opportunities for departmental mentoring? Well, we are aware of the International League of Dermatological Surgeries Society's GPEC program, Global Partnerships in Education and Care, which might be a method. How do we develop subspecialty champions? So going to rush up after this session and say, Claire, I really want to be involved. I'm really happy to lead on Derm Path training for the developing emerging programs. You know, that's what we also want. And how do we fund this? Always a challenge, always needing to think creatively. So the first offering in the funding story is, again, thanks to CERAVE for making this available, a grant opportunity for these emerging networks, which is just about to be launched, with quite a flexible offering, which will be open to the emerging residency programs to either support tech or kit or a piece of training, providing it's very clear that it's going to lead to a sustainable improvement for that program. It's certainly something that we can look at. So do join GLODERM. The link to the GLODERM membership is the QR code in the corner. Join GLODERM so that you can then be aware when it's happening. And if you want to get involved with this emerging residency network program and you're an ERP leader, do join GLODERM, get in touch with us. We'll just run through a kind of questionnaire of criteria with you, have a bit of a conversation, see how well you fit into the network. And if you want to take part and support as an emerging residency program network mentor, again, do get in touch and we'd love to talk to you and see how we could best use your skills. So thank you very much for that opportunity to share our first, our new baby. And very happy to take questions, but probably don't have time.